My darlings, I want to ask you something, and I want you to think about it carefully before you answer. Has a man ever just disappeared on you? No fight, no argument, no explanation, just there one day and gone the next. You check your phone, nothing. You go back through your messages looking for clues. What did I say? What did I do? Where did this go wrong? You replay every conversation, every moment, every look he gave you, searching for the answer to a question he never bothered to answer himself. My darlings, that is called ghosting, and it is one of the cruelest things one person can do to another. Not because it ends things, endings are a part of life, but because it ends things without giving you the dignity of a reason. It leaves you alone with a silence that is louder than any argument could ever be. And today, I am going to talk about that silence, because I have lived inside it, and I want you to understand something about it that took me years to understand myself. That silence is not about you. It was never about you. Let me say that again. That silence is not about you. Now let me give you 5 things I know about ghosting. 5 things I wish someone had told me when I was 25 years old. Sign number 1. Ghosting is never about your worth. It is about their inability to be honest. My darlings, when someone ghosts you, the story you tell yourself is always the same. Something is wrong with me. I was too much. I was not enough. I did something to push him away. I know because I told myself all of those stories for months. But here is the truth. Ghosting is an act of cowardice, plain and simple. It is what someone does when they want something to end, but do not have the courage to say so. It is easier to disappear than to have an uncomfortable conversation. And that says everything about them and nothing, absolutely nothing, about you. Sign number 2. Stop searching for the answer. The disappearance is the answer. My darlings, one of the most painful parts of being ghosted is the desperate search for closure. We want to know why. We need to know why. But here is what I learned the hard way. Some people will never give you the explanation you deserve. Not because the explanation does not exist, but because giving it to you would require them to face something about themselves they are not ready to face. And so they disappear and leave you with the silence. My darlings, the silence is the explanation. A person who respects you does not leave you in silence. A person who values what you had does not vanish without a word. The disappearance itself tells you everything you needed to know about who that person was. You just have to be willing to hear it. Sign number 3. Closure does not come from them. It comes from you. This is perhaps the hardest thing I will say today, and I say it with great love. You may never get the conversation you deserve. You may never get the apology. You may never get the explanation. And waiting for it will keep you stuck in that silence forever. Closure is not something another person gives you. Closure is a decision you make for yourself. It is the moment you say, I do not need his explanation to know my own value. I do not need his goodbye to begin my own next chapter. I am closing this door myself because I deserve a door that stays open. Sign number 4. You are allowed to be angry, but do not let the anger become a cage. My darlings, being ghosted is a wound, and wounds deserve to be felt. You are allowed to be furious. You are allowed to grieve something that felt real. You are allowed to miss what you thought you had. All of that is valid. All of that is human. But there is a point at which anger stops being healing and starts being a prison, where you spend more energy being angry at someone who has moved on than building the life you deserve. So feel it. Feel all of it. And then, when you are ready, let it go. Not for him, for you. Sign number 5. A mysterious man is not romantic. He is a coward. My darlings, our culture taught us something very wrong. We romanticize the mysterious man. The one who says little, shows little, and maybe one day comes around. No. Real courage is staying. Real courage is having the hard conversation. Real courage is being able to say, I do not want to be with you anymore. Disappearing is not courage, it is running. And you cannot build a life with a man who runs. Now let me tell you about Marcus, because you need to hear this story. All of it. I was 25 years old. I was working at a small art gallery, a lively place. Every night brought different people, different stories. That particular evening there was an opening. I was standing in front of a painting I did not quite understand, pretending that I did. And then a voice appeared beside me. Looks like a Tuesday morning after a very long Monday. I turned around, and there was Marcus, tall, dark hair, eyes that looked like they had already seen everything. I laughed, and that was how it started. We stayed as the gallery was closing. We walked out into the street together, without deciding to, without knowing where we were going. We just kept walking and talking, under the streetlights, in the middle of the night. And when I finally got home and looked at the clock, I smiled, because so much time had passed, and I had not even noticed. For the first time in my life, I had been with a man and completely forgotten about time. My darlings, Marcus was unlike anyone I had met before. He talked about art and music and ideas like they were living things. When he listened to me, he truly listened. He remembered everything. The name of my favorite bookshop, the way I took my coffee, a story I once told him about my grandmother. He called every day from the very first week, and I fell completely, without holding anything back. For 3 years, Marcus was the center of my world. We traveled together. We spent lazy Sunday mornings doing nothing but existing in the same space. We talked about the future the way young people in love do, as if it were already decided, as if we were already there. I was certain, absolutely certain, that this was it, that Marcus was the person I was going to spend my life with. And then, one day in October, he was quiet, not upset, not cold, just quiet. I noticed it, but I said nothing. I told myself he was tired. He was going through something. Give him space. He'll come back. 3 days later, a message arrived. I've been offered a position in another city. I'm going to take it. That was all. No, I want to talk about what this means for us. No, can I call you? No, what about everything we built together? Just that one sentence. I stared at it for a long time. I typed a response, deleted it. Typed another, deleted that too. Finally, I wrote, "When do you leave?" "Next week," he said. And then, nothing. No more messages, no phone call, no conversation about what 3 years together meant. No goodbye. He just left. And I was standing in my apartment, holding my phone, in a silence so complete it felt like the whole world had gone quiet. My darlings, I cannot describe to you what that silence felt like. It was not just heartbreak. It was a kind of disorientation that made me question everything. Was any of it real? Did it mean to him what it meant to me? How do you spend 3 years with someone and then simply vanish? I searched for answers everywhere. I went over every conversation we had ever had, every moment, every word, looking for the thing I missed, the sign I ignored, the moment it started to go wrong. And looking back, there were moments where Marcus was fully present and moments where he was somewhere else entirely. Moments where he pulled me close and moments where I could feel him retreating and told myself I was imagining it. I was not imagining it. I just loved him too much to see it clearly. My darlings, I spent a long time waiting for Marcus to call, to explain, to give me the closure I felt I deserved. He never did. And one afternoon, about a year later, I was sitting in a cafe, reading a book, and I realized something. I had not thought about Marcus in 3 days, 3 whole days, for the first time in a year, and in that moment I understood something. I had given Marcus enormous power over my peace. I had let his silence define my days. I had built my healing around a conversation that was never going to come. And all that time, he had simply been living his life in another city without a second thought. My darlings, that was the moment I made my decision. I closed that chapter myself, not because he deserved it, but because I did. I met my husband Chester when I was 28 years old. At the end of the same year, Marcus left. I had not fully let go of that silence yet, but I was tired of carrying it. 2 years later, at 30, we got married. A mutual friend introduced us, and from that very first evening, Chester was different in a way so quiet I almost missed it. He was not the most exciting man in the room. He did not have Marcus's intensity or his mystery. But when Chester looked at you, he was actually looking at you, not through you, not past you, at you. And when he spoke, he meant every single word. 3 weeks after we met, he called me. "I need to tell you something," he said. My heart stopped, because the last time a man said those words to me, it did not end well. "I really like you," my husband Chester said, "and I want to see where this goes. But I also want you to know something. Whatever happens between us, I will always be honest with you. I will never leave you guessing about where you stand with me." My darlings, I sat with that for a long time after we hung up, because no one had ever said that to me before. No one had ever made that promise so early, so clearly, so simply. Just, "I will be honest with you. I will never leave you guessing." And my husband Chester has kept that promise every single day for 31 years. He has never once left me in a silence I did not understand. He has never once made me question whether I mattered. Last Tuesday he came home with flowers. No occasion, no reason. "What is this?" I said. "I was thinking about you," he said, 31 years later, still. My darlings, if you are sitting right now in that silence I know so well, staring at your phone, waiting for a message that is not coming, asking yourself what you did wrong, stop just for a moment and hear me. His silence is not your verdict. His disappearance is not the last page of your story. You are not what he left behind. You are what he was not ready for, and there is a difference. A man who ghosts you is telling you exactly who he is. A man who deserves you does not vanish without a word. A man who deserves you does not run from hard conversations. A man who deserves you tells you where you stand, always. That man exists. He is out there, and when he arrives, he will not make you a mystery to solve. He will not keep you as an option. He will not leave you in the silence. He will say what my husband Chester said to me on a phone call 29 years ago. "I will never leave you guessing about where you stand with me." My darlings, until that man arrives, close the chapter on the one who disappeared. Not for him, for the one who is coming, who will never make you wonder, who will never leave you in the silence. Write it in the comments. Have you ever been ghosted? How long did you wait? I will read every single one, because every story you share down there deserves to be heard. See you in the next one, my darlings.